Okay, I'm playing. And here I am. So I arrived and fortunately found my most favorite spot. So I just got through setting up my shelter. I like to set up a shelter. Of course, it's supposed to be rainy and cool. And so I found a new spot to set it up. It's kind of a creative endeavor for me. So I thought I would just give you a glimpse, a tour of my camp spot here. So I'm going to turn this camera around so I can show you what I'm seeing. So here's the road coming in. It's really rough, but it wasn't too bad. It's a four-wheel drive road, and my trusty Subaru will get right down there. And so I felt really fortunate, and also the fact that on the way in here I never saw another camper. Cool. So this is my spot. There's the new tent. It's the largest tent I've had. Well, I had one that was a condo that I could stand up in, but it wasn't very functional. So this is my new tent. First time I'm using it. And last time I was here, I woke up in the morning and just on the other side of those logs, after I heard some chomping sounds and stuck my head out, that's where the moose were grazing. And so I'm setting up my tents and then noticing, yep, if you don't know it, that's moose scat. So here's my spot. I've been entertained all afternoon by the chipmunks, which has been kind of fun. And I put out one hummingbird feeder. It's early up here, so I'm not sure if I will see anything or not. So this is the meadow where I saw the moose a couple of years ago when I was up here. That was September. I'm going to swing back around here. So here was my space. Since I've gotten here, I haven't heard another human voice. That's the shelter I just built. I always bring tarps. And in the front, there's a couple of posts. I just had to go scrounge and find a couple of posts the right height or cut them to the right height. And then the secret is you just got to start with one. And then as you move along, adjust the anchors, adjust the tension. And so if it does get rainy, I got a nice cozy place to sit, not far from the fire. And then I'm sitting here with my chair looking up here. And this meadow, moose typically come out of there late afternoon, evening. On the other side of those trees is a big open meadow, and I think they're over there during the daytime. And then when I was here once before, when I had the moose come right through my camp, see that stump up there, and then just beyond that, that's my hammock trees. So this afternoon I was happy to be here. It was cool, but it's definitely warm enough for me to be in my hammock. So swing this around. It's my camping therapy. So this is like the first time I've been up here in 2 years. Last year my knees were so sore getting up and down, and I was tired a lot from that. I don't know if you've dealt with pain like that, but this summer it's better. I've been treating it myself and making progress, or to my Canadian friends, I've been making progress. And so here's my little camping therapy. I'm going to start the fire a little bit later. Got the wood underneath under a tarp and all set up to go. So I've been doing this for so long. This feels like home, if not a home, a second home. And again, this afternoon I've been entertained by the robins and the blue jays and the woodpeckers, and then I expect to see a few other animals come out later. It's so quiet up here, there's no campers around, and I could see certainly traces where the weekend was extremely crazy and crowded. So, ciao, that's it. Okay, I'm home now, warm and snug, and this is about my seventh attempt of doing a audio recording because I just have a different system at home. I think I've got it working this time. It didn't work well last time because you actually have to turn the microphone on before you're recording. So this is my favorite spot up there. This is where I've had hummingbirds sitting on my finger, had a black bear come walking across the meadow toward me, and tons of moose. So the video you're going to see here shortly, I had 5 moose come out of the trees, 4 of them pretty much together. 5th one was lagging behind. They rousted me out of my hammock and went back. They actually walked right beside my car, right between my tent and my car. And this one, you can see how the red on the antler, it was shedding its velvet, and that's what all the thrashing was about. So I felt really privileged to be out there in the forest and be able to witness something like this that people read about, but you rarely have the opportunity to see. So I'll jump back to a couple of videos I made when I was up there wrapping up my trip. Ciao. Here's my Wednesday afternoon. Drizzly and rainy again. It was warm and sunny this morning. Right now it's about 45 degrees. And it's extremely peaceful and quiet. There's nobody around. I saw one moose this morning. I saw tracks from an elk and deer. And I am just sitting here relaxing in my little shelter. Remnants of the fire burning down with the rain. And not my favorite kind of trip, but I was really just wanting to get out into nature and be peaceful and quiet and still for a while. So this has been perfect for that. Shh, hear that? Good morning from here. It's actually a little bit after 8 o'clock. I'm sitting here enjoying coffee by the fire. Had a little patch of blue sky earlier, and now it's slogged back up like this. So it looked like it was going to clear. I don't know if you know the expression that when you see a patch of blue sky about the size of grandma's apron, it's going to clear up. Well, it hasn't cleared up. Had a few light sprinkles. So I had everything soaking wet and soggy. So I jumped up, made my coffee, and just took my time. Packed everything up wet so that I don't have to pack in the rain. Rained hard last night. 4:30 in the afternoon, it was 43 degrees. This morning, there was ice on the back of my Subaru. And I just love these sparkly little raindrop crystals. So here's the area. Right there in the middle is a dead cedar, or dead pine tree, and right to the left of that, another. Below that is that willow bush. That's where I saw the moose yesterday before it disappeared. And so I'm sitting here just taking my time. I'm not in a hurry to go back. Love being up here. Let me see if I can open this baby up. Maybe. Yep. One of the things I love about being up here this time of the year, I haven't heard a voice in almost 48 hours. The only exception to that is that kind of crazy man in this camp spot that occasionally I hear him talking to himself, but it's not enough to be too annoying. So it's just so peaceful and quiet. It's surprising to me, and I've had this conversation with other people I've met, why people would choose to come up to a peaceful place like this and then bring suburbia with them. So I have not heard a generator, ATV, any sound of firearms, no screaming kids, no barking dogs, no loud music. And you might hear in the background the sound of that woodpecker. Geese and ducks flying over. I saw 3 elk yesterday. And I spend a lot of time just sitting here being, which is just my favorite thing. So no responsibilities, nothing to distract my attention. And I know how to sit and just be still for long periods of time. It's like a silent retreat for me. On the way up, I got my tire fixed, and I met a lady who was retired 7 months ago, and her husband was retiring that day. I've got another friend who's planning retirement, and another friend who's going to retire soon. And the woman I met she's a really interesting lady, and she's been retired for 7 months, and she's about ready to go find a part-time job. And the sitting up here, especially contemplating, like, I don't think people spend 25, 30, 40 years working the job and putting up with change and dynamics and personalities and micromanagers and cutbacks and all the things that people put up with and endure that often and almost always have some impact on the quality of life and the quality of family time. And, in spite of that, 65, 70% of Americans don't use all their vacation. So the thought occurred to me is like, I wonder how many people plan for retirement and they said to themselves, I'm going to retire after 30 years. Then I'm going to give myself 6 months to just do nothing and relax. And then I'm going to go look for a part-time job. And I'm thinking about that from the standpoint of creativity, because I have a creativity program coming up too. Thinking your way out of that will screw you up. And so planning, anticipating, feeling, in creativity, the primary barrier to creativity is thinking. And what that means is that you go back to the past and you search for what's familiar, what you know, what you've tried before, and then you try to force it to fit on what's available and what's in front of you right now. And that only works if this problem's anyway similar to what they were in the past. Generally, they're not. And then out of all that cumbersome thought process and burdensome and heavy and frustration and whatever, the only benefit of that much thinking is exhaustion. And then when people get exhausted, they let go. And then when they let go, the subconscious can go, oh, finally, you're giving me a path to let something come through. And so it's just a thought that goes through my mind. I'm getting ready to facilitate a creativity class in about 6 weeks. And I'm always looking for ways to engage people into feeling and looking at things differently. And I'll probably use that as a workshop topic because, it just makes no sense to me. People work for 30 years and going, damn, I can't wait to get that part-time job after I retire. So enough about that. I'll just flip you back here for a moment. There we go. Haven't seen another human being. And that is what stillness looks like. And when you can sit and be still and let go of everything, it brings you into presence with yourself. And that's a healing medicine. So here we go. Speaking of creativity, I'm going to take down my shelter here shortly. So I always have a couple of tarps with me. And there used to be trees here. There was a fire ring up that direction, and the trees have been cut down. You see the stump of one right in there. And so I just look around and kind of figure out where the prevailing wind is coming from and put something up to keep the rain from blowing in. And this has just been a stunning and spectacular spot for me to be. So I wanted to say bon voyage or something similar. Auf Wiedersehen. My last couple hours here. So I've got enough firewood. I'm going to probably sit here and read and write in my journal and relax and drink coffee and then head home. So ciao.